welcome to Basic Folk. I'm your host, Cindy House. So nice to have you here. Basic Folk is where we have honest conversations with folk musicians. And today on the podcast is our very first live recorded episode, Basic Folk live at Club Passim, which is this incredibly legendary historic folk club in Harvard Square in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And in this episode, we're going to hear Melissa Ferrick in conversation and also through music. Before we get into what we talk about, let's thank our sponsors for Basic Folk. Basic Folk is brought to you in part by Tina and Her Pony, a queer duo bringing traditional Appalachian music and vocal harmonies into the 21st century. Visit tinaandherpony.com. Basic Folk is live at Club Passim with Melissa Ferrick. This is the first episode that we've ever done like this. We had a live event at Club Passim in Harvard Square. It was awesome. If you came, thank you so much for participating. And if you watched the video stream, thank you. So Melissa Ferrick, the indie folk songwriter, genius lesbian icon, joined us for our very first live recording of the podcast just a couple weeks ago. We get honest conversation and live music from Melissa, who recently moved to Cambridge, graduated grad school at Harvard, and got a new teaching job at Northeastern. So a couple things going on in her life right now. She played songs from her latest self-titled album that came out in 2017, as well as one new song while talking about details of the song lyrics and her life. Melissa, who claimed that she was normally asleep by the time she hit the stage, which was around 9 o'clock, was charming, funny, and geez, those songs sounded amazing. All right, before we get into this awesome episode, I want to say that my dad opened the evening playing a few songs on accordion, including the Basic Folk theme song, which we'll hear a little bit of, and then we'll get to our conversation and performance with Melissa Ferrick on Basic Folk. All right, please welcome to the stage, Melissa Ferrick. Hi.
Hi, friend.
Hi, friend.
You can't go to Pittsburgh without seeing you, and so now, I mean, not that I go to Pittsburgh anymore, but it's
right.
just it isn't the same place without you, even though I'm not there.
Right. So we're so it's like we're in Pittsburgh, but we're in Cambridge, where it's all supposed to happen.
Pitts Cambridge.
Cambridgian.
Cambridgian.
Cambridgeburg.
Yeah.
How about Cambridgeburg?
All right.
Well, listen, let's take a Facebook poll. If Lindsay is still streaming online,
Let's not.
Can you post a Facebook? Okay. Never mind. Okay.
No, I don't care. I don't.
Welcome to the stage, Melissa Ferrick.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks. I'm usually asleep by now, so this is like, This is major for me.
This is major for everyone in the room.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I'm a young one from the looks of it here. No offense. It's law school. We'll do that.
So Melissa Ferrick, I would imagine that 99% of the people in the room are familiar, but let's just do a quick recap. Raised in Ipswich, Massachusetts. Got about a baker's dozen albums, not including live records. The last record was released in 2015, self-titled.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a point behind that. That was thought out.
On your Berklee College of Music professorial page, it says that you have performed more than 10,000 shows.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is talk about every one of them.
Which is what's wrong with me.
What's cool is that you've been concentrating on your teaching career at Berklee, where you're an associate professor of songwriting. True?
I'm now a professor of the practice at Northeastern University.
Okay. Whoa.
Thank you.
When did that happen?
This morning. No, I'm joking. No, it happened in May, right at the end of the academic year at Berkeley. I was offered a new job, which was great. It's an awesome opportunity, and
that's amazing.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's a research institute, and I really want to concentrate on researching the intersection of psychopathology and creativity. And so this, I think, will open up some doors for me and help me to learn, and I want to continue my education too. So I love Berkeley. It's my alma mater, but I'm really looking forward to
that sounds super
get into
interesting.
this next level here
Wow.
at Northeastern. Yeah, we'll see.
And you just got your master's at Harvard.
Yep, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, so May was not a big month. I moved to Cambridge. I left a job and got a new job and graduated from grad school. So.
No big deal.
No big deal.
And also you are...
I did not get a new cat. I almost got a new cat, and I was like, probably not a good idea.
Be too much.
I have a kitten like flying through the air while all that's happening.
Just, maybe like wait...
I'm going to wait
month.
a year. I'm
yeah.
going to wait a year.
Right. So a lot of balancing going on there, and you also have a family.
Yeah, I do.
Can you tell us just a little bit about your family?
Sure. I inherited a whole family kind of 5 years ago. Yep. So my partner, Alicia, and I live here in Cambridge. She's a writer, and we've known each other for 7 years.
What kind of writer?
She's a creative nonfiction writer. She just got her MFA at Emerson. We were in grad school together at the same time with 3 children. So, and we're I'm 48, she's 41. You know what I mean? Like we're lunatics. We're the best couple ever. Really good fun to hang out with, but we're like, what's happening? Do you have my child? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
And no cats.
No, I have one cat.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, what kind of lesbians are you?
No, yeah, right, exactly. We're all the kinds. Yeah. No, so I'm thrilled. This is a totally different way of life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I took the gig at Berkeley doing 5-week program, which is this amazing summer program that they have when I turned 40. It kind of just happened at the same time that I had really hit a wall with touring nationwide in a car, 200 plus shows a year. I had done it since I was 20 and I was 40, and I just couldn't take it. My body couldn't take it, and my spirit couldn't take it. And anyway, that's kind of the Berkeley thing happened, and that kind of helped land me. And then Alicia happened, and I don't know really. Time goes by so much faster. Like, remember when you're little and your parents would say that to you, and you'd be like, you just don't believe anything they tell you because they don't know anything. Because they're
Except
old.
my parents who are in the audience.
Yeah.
They know everything.
But now that we're old, we think our parents are, I mean, I do. I think my parents are awesome. They're just amazing people. Yeah. But when you're young, it's just like, I don't know. So I'm going to hope that these kids think I'm really smart when they're like 32. So I got like another 20 years.
It's really kind of a hopeless case at this point, though, to
hopeless,
be like,
yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, you just got to give up trying at that point.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah.
Do you want to play a song?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sorry, I really am asleep by now. That just totally fell off there at the end. Sorry.
Do you need anything?
Oh, that's a dangerous question. I mean, there's so many answers.
Melissa, first question. Do you need anything?
Right? Yes, I do. So I just moved to Cambridge, and it's this is the first show I've played since May, which is weird for me. So this guitar is happy to be out. I can feel it. She's like, oh, breathing air. Well, I'm gonna let go with everything I've got. Yeah, I'm gonna let you see me, 'cause if I believe that nothing is stronger than love, then I better give this everything I've got. Time isn't waiting for me to get ready. So I'm gonna step up, onto the stage. Go ahead, throw a spotlight right into my face, because I am not hiding. I do not need a break. Go ahead and look at me. want to see our happiness. I suspect are deeply sad. People who sit in judgment of us are twisting words to justify the stance that love is wrong. Don't stop trusting. Yeah, open up your eyes, because we are standing on the edge of the rest of our lives. I know it's been exhausting to be brave for this long, but we are approaching the scenic view. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You carry me, I carry you. Yeah. You carry me. I carry you. You carry me. I carry you. You carry me. I carry you. Thanks, everybody.
I want to talk about this line where you say, so you wrote, that song came out in 2015.
Correct.
The world was a different place.
Yeah, I mean, Hillary Clinton was the president.
Right.
Remember that night?
This, yeah. No.
I know.
Blacked out. Up until this moment. This line, I know it's been exhausting to be brave for this long, but we are approaching the scenic view. Who is that line for?
To be completely honest with you, that what I saw in my head when I wrote that, which were the women that came before me from Michigan Women's Festival. That's what I saw in my head, was like Lisa Vogel. So like the 70-year-old women with a Y who like created the land, like the Amazon dykes who like really need their own space, and like, you know what I mean? But like they like Farron, you know, or like Joan Armatrading, you know, like the queer women that were either out or not out. I don't know. I just like, if you don't know anything about the Michigan Women's Festival, it doesn't exist anymore, but it started in like the 70s, and all of these women would gather like months before the music festival, and they would build the entire festival, and there are these amazing photographs of women like creating stages, and I mean, just kind of makes me tear up. There's so many women who go there to heal, and so it's a really safe space, and I don't know, when I wrote that, that's what I saw in my head. And I've played Michigan before, but it's not like it's a big part of my life story or anything. But I find that interesting with songwriting is like, sometimes the strangest people will suddenly come into my consciousness or unconsciousness, out of my unconscious, like into the front of my brain. And then like, I'm writing about them. I don't really know how else to describe it. Do you know, like, I'm one of those people that, like, if I think about somebody, like, they call me in, like, either the next day or, like, in a couple hours. And also I've heard that this happens to other writers, which is at some point, I actually know when it was. It was when I made The Truth Is, the record before this last one. I started writing the future. Like, I started writing what would happen to me rather than what has happened to me. It's like this weird kind of space of, I don't know, admitting what's gonna come without really acknowledging that the shit's gonna go down or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like,
That's intuition?
I guess. I just know that I've read a few articles of other creative types, different kinds, that have talked about this happening to them before, and it's kind of unnerving, you know? Like I'll listen to the record later and be like, that's so weird because then I did this. I mean, you can also flip the script on that and be like, yeah, well, it also relates to this. So I kind of poo-poo everything, I think, because I'm like, yeah, wah, wah. I'm a critic. Like, as soon as I think I've thought of something interesting, I'm like, that's not interesting. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
Totally. The bridge in that song, I want to talk about that
thanks.
too.
Okay.
You were able to write about the offender and granting them some understanding. The line is, people who don't want to see our happiness, I suspect, are deeply sad. And you said that was a clear mark of writing from a new place for you. So interested in knowing how your life perspective on giving the offender some understanding, how did that perspective grow with your writing?
thanks for liking that line, first of all. Like, it's nice to have somebody, like, say something nice about something. Because I'm proud of that line, you know what I mean? So, like, as people, it's nice to appreciate each other. So thank you for that. Yeah. Being able to see my part in everything is a lifelong process, right? So, like, what is my part in this? Whether it's something upsetting or whatever, I always have a part in it. So being able to flip the script on this has a lot to do with a spiritual way of life. I'm the person who's, like, in the car, and when the person cuts you off and the person is pissed off in the car, like, I'm the one who's like, they might have, like, an animal who's dying in the car. I really am. I try to, like, I really do.
Empathy.
I do, and a lot of times I do have to remember to think that way, but it happens. So, like, this Trump guy is, like, really, he's really hurt. He's really in a lot of pain. That must be a really hard way to live. And so I wish him nothing but happiness and relief, you know?
If there is anger and if there's sadness, like, why perpetuate?
Yeah, for me, that's what I have to do. We have, like, Rapino out there. Like, I have people. Everybody does their own thing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's great at what they're great at, which is why it's great to be alive. So we have our fighters, and we have our, you know, prayers, and we have our cheerleaders, and we have our carriers, and our, you know, our athletes, and our speed runners, and our swimmers. I could go on and on. Make me play something or something.
Oh, wait. Well,
that's terrible.
Sorry. I have another can of worms that maybe we could open.
All right.
Here. How was Pride Month for you? The 50th anniversary of Stonewall.
Yeah. This has been, like, one of the most memorable Pride months I've ever had. And guess why? Because I'm not working. This is the most time off I've ever had. Like, since I went before school, like kindergarten. Well, summers. I had summers off when I was a kid, but only till I was 14, and then my parents made me get a job. I was a dishwasher. So, you know, this is I've been off. Like, off. I don't have a computer, you guys. So it's just great. I don't know. I've been seeing all sorts of things on the interwebs with the flags, and I'm noticing that there are, like, buildings lit up in rainbow colors. I'm just noticing, and I'm in a noticing phase. And, when I graduated from Hugsy, I went to the grad school of education here. We had a lavender graduation, so I got to go to that, and the kids came, and that was really amazing. And there were high school students who came and spoke about gender equality and being non-binary, and all, you know, it's just like. And then I got to have conversations with the kids on the way home about, like, you know, pansexual. So pansexual is this, and non-binary means this, and then so it's hearts, not parts. Hearts, not parts. So I was like, yeah, that's what it's all about. I really like that. Hearts, not parts. That's what they said.
Question.
Should I write a song called Hearts, Not Parts?
Yes.
It's kind of hard to even think Hearts, Not Parts.
Did you just call Harvard Hugsy?
Hugsy, yeah. Harvard Graduate School of Education, otherwise known as Hugsy, because we give hugs.
That's nice. Do you want to play another song?
Yeah. What song am I playing now? I wrote it on my arm. Stars.
Stars outnumber our hearts, not parts. I win!
Wow, that was a great podcast moment. Well, this song, I'll just quickly tell you. So one of the classes I teach at Berkeley, I asked them to write a song about a very, very short period of time, like no more than a couple hours, and the beginning, middle, and end of it. And the best song that I've heard yet handed in from that, I know Caroline is here. She was a student of mine. She works here at Passim now. Was a song called Waffles. Waffles and Chicken and Waffles. And the first, it was about 3.5 minutes of this guy's life. And the first verse was ordering the waffles. The second verse was paying for the waffles. And so drive up window, and then the third verse was, getting the waffles, and then the chorus was just chicken and waffles, yeah, San Diego. And it was like, the great, I was like, it was so good, so simple and like dumb it down a bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so I dumbed it down a bit, and because they were like, where's your song, Mrs. Ferrick? And I didn't have one, so I went and wrote one for them. So this is called Stars Outnumber Our Hearts and Parts. It was dinner time in this tiny seaside town. Dogs were barking, kids were laughing. I was counting the days left till fall. The sun was setting heavy, the moon traced paper thin, and I was getting ready to go out and get my fill of oysters so sweet, small and cold. A dozen oysters to help me taste the beauty in getting old. Yeah, because the smaller the thing, the bigger it feels, the less these days I gotta worry about. 'Cause you got the kind of smile that holds me down. Simpler the words, the more they mean, and the less I try to fix you, the more I can fix me. Yeah, you got the kind of smile that holds me down. Hey, it seemed the whole town was out that night with their suntan hands and their sandy jeans. And while the local band started digging in, the volume of happiness completely shut down. Every cell phone and every TV, everybody's pretense of it's all about me. And so we grabbed our drinks, grabbed our chairs, headed towards the exit and walked outside. We went into the streets, people poured out of cars, and all at once it seemed we were all looking up to witness a display being put on by the mystic. Oh, the whole dome of stars that night. Never had darkness looked so bright. Yeah, never had silence sounded so right. And then this lady next to me just off the cuff said, stars outnumber our hearts. Everything inside of me just took a breath and stopped. Stars outnumber our hearts. Because the smaller the thing, the bigger it feels, the less these days I gotta worry about. Hey, you got the kind of smile that holds me down. Yeah, the simpler the words, the more they mean, the less I try to fix you, the more I can fix me. You got the kind of smile that holds me down. Yeah, I said it's true. Your smile holds me down. So the lights came back on, I closed out my check and started back home with the knowingness that my capacity to have a little bit of fun had grown. With a moment, a memory that I would always hold, a perfect night in August when I got good at getting old. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Gotten good with getting old. Getting good with getting old. Getting good with getting old. Thank you.
All right, I want to talk about that song, Stars Outnumber Our Hearts. It's
Okay.
a really interesting song, and I want to know what role aging has in that tune.
Yeah, so my birthday's in September, so it was August, and I hadn't written the song in that spring semester, and it wore on me how they were like, how come you didn't write a song? And then it was, and Alicia was working at a oyster restaurant up the street in Newburyport where I was living called Brine. It's a wonderful restaurant, and they have wonderful oysters. And I had never really been into oysters before, and then I was like obsessed with them. And they're not cheap, you know what I mean? So I was like, how many oysters can you eat? A lot of them. It's not like something that you feel like I'm suddenly full. I don't understand. I'm like, how many do you eat? I don't know. When they say, like, how do you order? I'm like, well, what do people do? 6? 12? Yeah, for one person, is that normal? I don't know what normal is. This is the problem. So yeah, that's what happened. I was so the whole idea was like that's a food that you would think, oh, grown-ups like that food. Mm-hmm. Like caviar, right? Or avocado.
Scampi. Lobster roll.
Yeah, I didn't mean avocado. I meant artichoke. And you just eat the bit of it. Seems like a lot to waste.
So anyways, oysters.
I hope you'll have me back. I hope I'm doing well.
We'll see.
Okay. You're so great. Oh my God.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about in that song, there's lots of references to like getting good with getting old.
Right.
And I've had the opportunity to have a couple different conversations with people like Emily Saliers and Jonathan Brooke about that feeling as you get older. And I've heard for women, it's one thing. And then I've heard for men, it's also a thing that invisibility really sets in. But sometimes it seems like so conflicting because sometimes I feel like I crave that invisibility that comes with getting older, but I'm like not at a point yet where it's like registered with men that like, hey, just like leave me alone.
Right. That doesn't happen for women, I don't think, with men. The wanting to have sex with you, do you mean? That men
I mean like the man, like once the gaze of society shuts down on you, you're like, I'm free. I can wear whatever I want and no makeup ever.
Right. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I feel like what's happening for me now is that, I just don't care anymore, which is so great. And all of my men friends too, and I'm sure it's just like kind of a coming into it more and more and more. And it's not like I don't care, like I used to not care when I was in my 20s and I wished I was Blondie. It's not that kind of I don't care. It's just like I'm good. Like I don't need more friends. You know what I mean? Like,
oh man,
like I'm busy. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy with my life. When you get happy with your life. But I think that ageism is an interesting thing because I'll be 49 this year. I don't know, but whatever. Yeah. So that I did start to think of that when I had a meeting with a career person, with my resume, and I realized I have 20 years of, like valid, like 401k building work in me. And like at 50, I'm a different qualifying candidate. You know what I mean? Like they start using words like that about you as a person. And like as an artist your whole life, like people never called me a candidate. I also never had to interview for a job. I also never left a job. I had people leave, but I never. So now this is like a whole new thing. So I feel very visible in a lot of ways, which I've always wanted to be seen as a more whole person, not just Melissa Ferrick who has that song. You know what I mean? That's a very hard way to live, to be seen as one thing and not allowed to be seen as yourself as you grow. And that's what's, I think, also a really important move for me with this job is because I am an alma mater at Berkeley, I really can only be seen as one thing there, So now with this degree, me standing up and really making these moves for myself and being like, I'm making the pivot here, like big time, It feels good. And other musicians like Jonathan, I love Jonathan Brooke, and she is I think she's a couple years older than me, but she's such a strong force, And Emily, I love Emily Saliers too. Wow, that's cool. You got to talk to both of them about this. I would love to hear those or hear more about that.
You can check them out on Basic Folk.
I will. I guess the thing that I do want to say about growing older or whatever, living right now, is that I've got to just stop future casting. You know what I mean? Like I keep throwing myself under the bus a little bit, I'm in menopause, or I'm gonna go into menopause. Oh, I'm sweat, and it's like I'm really not quite yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm on the border of it, but
yes.
I put myself there because I think it'll be easier when I get there. Then I lose this nowness, So
when you're on a plane and you feel turbulence, you're like, this is it. Plane is going down. I'm going to convince myself the plane is going down so that when the plane actually goes down,
I won't care.
I won't care.
Right. It's so strange. Well, yeah. And this has me back to the thing that I'm a little obsessed with, which is the speed of sadness versus the speed of happiness. And like the fact that when you do have, like Csikszentmihalyi, who's this very famous researcher of creativity, coined this flow phase, which I call the jet stream, which I'm going to write about a lot. But it's like when you have that aha moment, and when you have that aha moment, there's a part of your brain that like lights up, and not only does it light up, it makes a sound. And I'm like, in class, I was like, what sound does it make, right? And it's like, what frequency? And is it the same frequency for everybody? Is it different for different ages? Like, what does that sound like? And can we record it? You know, because like whatever, people recorded whale sounds. Remember that one? I'm obsessed with this right now. So my whole thing is about what's wrong with studying sadness and the sound of that.
Would you like to play another song?
Sure, yeah. This is a song called Relief. You keep on coming back, you keep on keeping score, keep on asking me if I think that we're worth fighting for, but it never really came all the way in. I never sat down, 'cause you wouldn't stop asking me why. Why do I always break things? It's not that I wasn't willing, it's not that I couldn't feel. Maybe I shouldn't have hung around for so long, maybe I just should have bailed. But I was trying for the first time, trying to give it time. 'Cause all of my friends kept on saying you gotta let someone in to really learn why. Why do I always break things? I want to stop because I want to call myself out on something that I was just talking about, which is that I began thinking while I was playing the song. Did you notice that? And so when I began thinking, because I messed up right after I started thinking, and then I was laughing in my head because I was like, you came out of the not thinking while you play, and you were just talking about that, and then I messed up again. And then I was laughing more, and I was completely conscious of where I am now. And and then I was like, you might as well stop because they can edit this, and you can just play the whole song again. Meanwhile, I'm still playing and singing the whole time, right? But while I'm doing all of that, I'm not connected to the song, or therefore unconnected to the song, right? So it's just terrible. And it's not like you don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe some of you do. But like there's a feeling of like, what's happening
Chris
here?
O'Brien, did you know?
Right? Chris, did you know?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a weirdness.
But I was in it. I didn't feel you disconnected.
Yeah, but that's because, Chris, you've known me for so long, and you know that. What I will do is I will play through anything, because my first music teacher used to hit me on the wrist with his bow. And no, not in a bad way. He would just tap me. 1976, it was all good. They would tap you with the bow and say, play through it. And I would never stop. I would play through every mistake. And so anyway,
I'm not
I'd like to
cutting
start
this out.
Yeah, okay, good. I want to start the song again. Whoosh. All right, cool. Now watch me not think. Can you turn it up just a little bit in my wedge or whatever, the guitar? Yeah, thanks. You keep on coming back, you keep on keeping score. You wanna keep on asking me you keep on coming back, you keep on keeping score. You keep on asking me if I think that we're worth fighting for. Never really came all the way, and I never sat down because you wouldn't stop asking me why. Do I always break things? It's not that I wasn't willing, it's not that to feel. Maybe I shouldn't have hung around for so long. Maybe I just should have bailed. But I was trying for the first time, trying to give it time. Because all of my friends kept on saying you gotta let someone in to really learn. Why do I always break things? Why? Well, first there was the Northridge earthquake, and then there was a drive-by hate crime. Then there were the hands of that guilty man. Thoughts inside of my head I could not stop and I could not stand. So that's why it's kinda hard for me to trust sometimes. That's why. But I got a book about forgiveness, and it promises to set me free. I'm gonna take every single suggestion, set off flares, signaling I need relief, because I gotta find some strength. Yeah, I wanna find some strength. I wanna find some strength in something other than me. I got a wooden banister. I've got the face of my grandmother, and I got the words of Mary Oliver, and they bring me relief. Oh, relief. Thanks.
Mary Oliver.
Yeah, I know. So sad she's gone, but so beautiful, and I think it was good.
That was real good. I feel like the first 10 times I listened to that song, I didn't catch the Mary Oliver references until you played it tonight. And it's funny, the song is called Relief, and Mary Oliver is in there. And I think it's interesting, when I was going through a state where I was looking for relief and looking for anything, you make references I'll take anything that you've got. I remember my dad sent me a couple of Mary Oliver poems, and I just sat there studying them, and definitely just something that really hardcore resonated with me at that moment.
It's funny, I didn't use her first name on purpose, because I want female writers and people who identify as not just, cis white men to be able to, not that they're bad people, because they're wonderful people, a lot of them, but to be known by just their last name. You can say Faulkner, you can say Elliott.
Dylan.
Dylan, yeah. So I just decided to just say Oliver. And now I do sing Mary Oliver live, because there's a lot of people that, so you have to teach it, right, to have it, and people then, anyway, I just think it's kind of cool. I kind of like calling her Oliver too, because if I had been a boy, that's a name I wished I had. I wish that was my name. I think it's a cool name. Also, I wanted to be in Oliver the play, but the director in 6th grade, her son was up for the part too, and he got it, and I got Mr. Bumble. But it's okay, it was a good part. But what I did was I learned every single line of every single character. I don't have control problems or anything. And they gave me a mug at the end of it. That was for most
prize?
Valuable.
Wow.
Yeah. Because when kids were forgetting their lines, I was like, psst, psst, psst.
Oh man, just like Megan Rapinoe.
Is that what she did? Yeah.
She got the boot, right?
Oh, that's
she
right.
Got the boot MVP.
Yeah. I got the bowl of porridge. Yeah.
That's awesome. Also in that song, there's a line about your grandmother. Yeah. Can you tell us about her?
Sure. It's my maternal grandmother, Genevieve Connors Smithson. She's passed on now, but she passed away actually in 2011, the night before my show here at Passim, I think it was the night before. No, the night after I played here. Anyway, the last time I saw her was that Thanksgiving. Before that, Christmas. she would always touch my face with both of her hands every time I saw her. And that's such an intimate thing to do. Someone you don't know wouldn't touch your face. You know what I mean? It's like a very weird thing to do. I've actually had, like, back in the day when fans were kind of nuts about me, this one time I remember someone touched my face, and I really was just like, it felt like such a, like it upsets me for myself now. I was so like, you know what I mean? It's like, don't touch my face. That's weird. My grandmother does that. Or your mom. And so anyway, but this thing, she touched my face, and I touched hers back with both of my hands. And her skin was so soft from life. She'd been softened, And when I started with the wooden banister, because when I was a kid, I loved going into the basement. And I grew up in a house that was built in 1650. And so the banister, as you can imagine, had a lot of hands on it. And in the basement, my dad had these wooden chisels. And I loved being allowed to use them because they were, like, dangerous. When you're young and your parent lets you use something that is, like, kind of beyond your capability, it feels awesome. And so I loved going, and he had a pool table in there that you had to use. The stick had to be cut in half. You couldn't get a shot anywhere, really. It was like this, but it was a full-size table with the cutoff, and I just loved it. So I decided to do the wooden banister, the face of my grandmother, and the words of Mary Oliver as three separate things, like, wood, skin, and words, all things that are worn. And that reminds me, because when this song originally was called Worn Out, and that was the only part I had that I liked. The wooden banister, the face of my grandmother, and the words of Oliver. And it was like, I'm all worn out. And it was like really, really angry. And I was like, this is terrible. I'm not worn out. What is this song really, really about? So I had to go back and rewrite it.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
What were the ceilings like in your 1650s house? Were they
very close to your head?
Yeah. And then did you also have a pala?
I don't know what that is.
A parlor? Like you have a bathroom?
No.
And
North Shore, a bathroom. We say ba. No, but we had a secret room, and in the house behind the fireplaces, and also there was a tunnel through the basement that went to the cemetery, and it was part of the Underground Railroad
Wow.
Yeah, it's on High Street in Mineral in Ipswich. It's you should go. Well, I don't think they let people in. It's not like these people bought it and made it really fancy. But my family, my dad was a public school teacher his whole life, so they bought that house, and my mother and father rented out half of it in order to pay the mortgage. It had 54 windows. And we moved 7 times in 6 years and never left the house. My dad likes to tell that story. Between the doors. We kept switching sides with our tenants because we were all friends. Be like, want to switch living rooms? And be man. Let's have a party, Kentucky Derby weekend. Let's move the furniture.
In the pala?
And no, who knows?
No, not the pala.
When you're little, though, that's what you do. Your parents just make you move stuff because what else is there to do?
So where are we in the set? Because you were going to play Careful?
Yeah.
Do you still want to play that or no?
No.
Okay.
Let's play the new song.
Okay. Do you want to set it up?
Because that's it. That's late.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We'll set it up for us.
All right.
And how about a round of applause for Melissa Ferrick for staying up past her bedtime?
Oh, thank you. I think it's so awesome that you're doing this. And I feel like we can't say the name. Is it okay? So she worked at the station WYEP, right?
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh. I just want to make sure I have it because it's one of these places that I think I could speak for a lot of us traveling troubadourians. That was like a destination because we knew we would get to see Cindy, and we knew we would get played on the radio, and we knew we would get an interview. And there's only a few places like that throughout this country where you really can rely on someone being like, "Yes, you can come on my morning." Really, you mean a lot to us, and so it's so great to have you here. And yeah. And is Club Cafe gone?
No, it's
okay.
Still there, yeah.
Not yet. I know, it's so sad. Yeah.
Club Cafe is kind of like the Club Passim sized venue in Pittsburgh, and it's right around the corner from WYEP, so it's very convenient to like play a live session at WYEP and then go play your gig.
You play your gig and then you stay at the Sheraton and hope that there isn't a Steelers game. Right? Yeah, it's all on the
Yes.
same side of the river. That's right. If you do Priceline and your hotel's on the other side of the river, it ruins your trip to Pittsburgh, because if you have to switch sides of the river on their bridges, you will, trust me, you won't do it the right way, and they'll let you know.
Get a kayak.
You're better off in a kayak or just swimming. It's not that far.
You don't want to swim in that.
So I hadn't written a song in 3 years until this song, and I want to thank my professor for allowing me to do this as my final for the summer class I took with her called Emotion in Learning, and it was a great course. She has severe dyslexia, like really, really bad, and she's this like total amazing smart person about changing the perspective of a disability being not the exception, but the norm in a classroom. And I think that that's really cool. And I've also learned this new term that I am a temporarily abled body. Cool, right?
That's really
I was
cool.
like, that's smart. I just paid $50,000 to learn that. I was like, thank you very much. But yeah, it made like this universal learning design and like thinking about teaching and always putting like, why not always have the closed captioning on? You know, when you're showing a video, why not? You know, some people learn better listening and some people learn better reading and all that. So I wanted to do this, to try to write a new song, and it was really about this like emotional mapping of process. It's called So Far Gone, and the first lyric is, where did you go? Words I used to have. Are you so far gone? You can't get back. And so I'm speaking to the lyric. Where did you go? Words I used to have. Are you so far gone? You can't get back. Always at the tip of my tongue. Your truth used to tell me how to get free. So far gone, so far gone, so far gone, lost at sea. So far gone, so far gone, lost at sea. Someone once told me that I never seem happy, like I like being lonely and living unsatisfied. But that night I got empty. That December I cried, help me. I guess you thought that meant that I was ready to walk on unfamiliar ground. But I was so far gone, so far gone, so far gone, lost at sea. So far gone, so far gone, lost at sea. I wanna soar like a red-tailed hawk, or a dream that won't stop. Yeah, I wanna soar like a red-tailed hawk, or a dream that won't stop. Yeah, yeah. Or a soul released, or a mind at peace, a Thanks for listening.
Melissa Ferrick. My gosh, those songs are just like, I mean, I was writing the interview questions and listening to the songs that she told me she was going to play ahead of time. And I was like, man, these questions write themselves. She's such an awesome songwriter. Thanks to Melissa Ferrick for appearing in our very first Basic Folk live episode. And one more time, let's thank our sponsors for Basic Folk. Basic Folk receives support from McDean, songwriters who love each other. McDean would be delighted to send you a free CD of their first EP, The Sampler Plate. Email lin@mcdean.co, lin@mcdean.co to get one. And thanks to WIUP in Indiana, Pennsylvania, which airs Basic Folk 2 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. You can listen on 90.1 if you're in the Indiana, PA area, or at their website, wiupfm.org. Adam Corey produced Basic Folk. Laura McCarthy, also a producer for Basic Folk. Lindsay Myers is our business manager. Thanks to Lou Howes for opening Club Passim's Basic Folk live event. Thank you to everyone at Club Passim. Especially thanks to Matt Smith, who also was our sound engineer that night. I'm Cindy Howes, host of this podcast, and you can sign up for our newsletter at cindyhouse.net. There's also show notes you can check out, and you can join our Basic Folk Basics Facebook group. I have another live at Club Passim episode to share with you next week. I'll talk to you then. Okay, thanks. Bye.